All right, guys, welcome to this edition of FLOPBUSTER, Johnny Mnemonic edition. One of the great movies from 1995. It was my pick for us to review this as our second movie because I feel really strongly about that, how this movie has been relegated to like the back of people's minds. So I wanted to bring it to the forefront. And one of the first people that I thought should bring it up to the forefront was Tony. So I've been talking about this movie for about a year now, and he finally watched it yesterday. So I definitely want to hear his thoughts and what he thought about the movie. So, take it away, man. Well, how'd you like it?
You've been holding the data of how much you love this movie for 20 years in the back of your head, just like Johnny.
I have.
In the movie. You have 86 gigabytes worth of knowledge about Johnny Mnemonic.
I do.
The film. 86 gigabytes of useless knowledge of this movie.
Love it.
So, you told me about this movie, I'd say like maybe a year ago.
Yeah.
We were doing the We Come in Peace podcast, and you were telling everybody, like, oh, there's a movie I like called Johnny Mnemonic, and it's not really well liked, and it's one of those movies that are like, it's so bad it's good type thing. And I was like, I've never heard of this, and I love Keanu Reeves. I've seen Speed, I love Point Break, and this is definitely a mid-90s crazy cyberpunk movie, and I don't think it's as bad as people say, and even the stuff that's bad is so good in the best ways. Keanu Reeves owns the show in this. I've never seen somebody with the most insane line delivery of the 90s. Maybe Nicolas Cage would take the cake, but something about Keanu and the way he says things is just so fucking weird.
Yeah.
And it's so off. Like, he just seems confused in every scene. And in the best way possible, though. But this is our hero of the movie. It's Johnny Mnemonic, and he's confused. He's got a Forrest Gump haircut. He holds a lot of data in his head.
Yes.
He's running from the Yakuza. I think that's what they're called, right?
The Yakuza.
Yeah.
And Street Preacher.
We got Dolph Lundgren as a street preacher. Ice-T is in this movie. He's got an anarchy symbol. He's pretty much QAnon, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
or Anonymous.
J-Bone.
J-Bone, that's what his name in the movie is. There's a cyborg dolphin. There's a killer plague. All in the year 2021.
Then we're living in 2021. We got a killer plague going on. Technology is going crazy.
Yep. We have crazy people preaching about things. False prophets. All we're missing is a cyborg dolphin named Jones to help us come up with a cure for the plague.
Listen, we don't know what the military has.
We don't know what they came up with.
So they may have a dolphin.
How did they come up with this in 6 months?
I'm just saying.
They said 2 years for a COVID vaccine. They might have been doing, maybe Dr. Fauci had a, just like in the movie, hooks up something to his brain and he's communicating with a dolphin and he's telling him the cure and uploading the cure for this.
It just shows how smart dolphins are. Rapey and smart, but mostly smart.
It showed how ahead of the time this movie was, I think.
Yes.
So let's break down into it. Give us the plot rundown of Johnny Mnemonic, because I feel like everybody's going to need a refresher on this movie, especially if they're coming in it for the first time like I did.
So Johnny Mnemonic, Keanu Reeves plays Johnny Mnemonic. He's a courier for communication companies or whoever. What they do is they plant a memory chip basically in the back of your brain. You lose your memories, which Keanu did. He lost his childhood memories. And they transfer data back and forth for safekeeping because the world in 2021 has gone awry. There's, it's nothing but poverty except for rich areas. There's a bunch of looting and stealing, mostly like how it is now. But so he does this. And there's also a pandemic going on. So one of these companies, a pharmaceutical company, has a cure for the disease that they have going on. Johnny doesn't know this, but he gets it uploaded into his brain, and then he has to go to New Jersey, of all places. New Jersey is going to be the saving the world. And he goes to New Jersey, and nobody could find the information because apparently when you upload, you also have to take a pass key. And the courier doesn't know the password, so he doesn't know what information he has. The end user has the password, and he could download it. But it gets lost in the fire, it gets lost in the gunfights, and he doesn't know who it is. So then we meet J-Bone, we meet Street Preacher, We meet Henry Rollins.
Henry Rollins.
You know, we meet all these characters and all the
Spider.
They're all trying to get this information because apparently he has a cure for the disease that's plaguing the year 2021.
And the bad guys don't want that cure to get out.
They don't. The Yakuza doesn't. A rival pharmaceutical... No, the own pharmaceutical company doesn't.
They don't want it to get out.
Get out because they said they're making more money trying to treat the disease than it is to cure it.
Yeah.
So they don't want that to come out, so they're going after him as well. And it all ends in, you know, gunshots and this guy with a fire wire? What would you call it?
I don't know. It's like a laser wire that comes out. He's got a little pinky thing. It's
like a pinky ring, and it's just like
rips off, and it's a laser. Keanu's not as badass as you would think he would be in this movie. He falls a lot.
He does fall a lot.
He gets his butt kicked all the time. And one of the craziest things about this movie is just like, only if they waited a couple of years, and then they like why the fuck? Why would we want this guy to carry the most important data in dumbass Keanu Reeves' head when we could just put it on our cell phone?
Right.
Our cell phone.
Our cell phones have more gigabytes to store things than Johnny's head.
Yeah, he's like, I got 86 gigs, and they tell him like, oh, do you have enough to carry 300 gigabytes? Yeah. And he doesn't. I don't know why he says yeah.
Well, he doubled his memory to 164 gigs. Remember that?
He did. There's a bunch of just crazy cyberpunky sort of things in this movie. There's a weirdo opera sex club. There's that I forget the guy's name. He's always a crazy German evil guy in every movie. He's Johnny's boss in this movie. And he's got 2 bodyguards who are very interesting.
Yes. Very interesting. You know, they're very androgynous.
Androgynous, I would say. Definitely like it.
Which ahead of its time because now 2021, there's a lot of
androgynous people.
There you go.
This movie, again, it was ahead of its time and it's very welcoming.
It is very welcoming. You know, you have I think her name is Dina Meyer. That was her first movie, and you just may know her from Starship Troopers, but that was her first movie that she starred in. Yeah,
Starship Troopers. She starred as Batgirl in Birds of Prey, which only lasted like a season. She's more of the badass in this.
Oh, absolutely.
100%. She, throughout the movie, has the black shakes.
Yes, which is the disease that everybody has in the world back then.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, this is a wild ride. I mean, even if I understand people, you know, they're well disliked on release, has a number of Golden Raspberry Awards, but I can't see somebody sitting here and going, this movie was not entertaining, because it's entertaining as hell.
It's entertaining as hell. So... when it got released, right, it got released over Memorial Day weekend. It went up against Casper, and it went up against Braveheart in 95. And Johnny Mnemonic, right? Guess who won the box office for Memorial Day weekend?
Was it Johnny Mnemonic?
No.
Was it Braveheart?
No.
Casper?
Casper came out as the #1 movie Memorial Day weekend for 95. Johnny Mnemonic was number 3. Obviously, Braveheart number two, but Casper, the friendly ghost.
Oh, I guess he's for everybody, you know.
Oh, I know he is, but if you flip it, maybe towards maybe a couple years, let's say a decade later, I don't think Casper would have done as well over Johnny Mnemonic. Holidays seem to like another for families, but I think as far as the movies are concerned. Some of them could be more adult movies. But anyways, I thought that was a weird thing that Casper was the #1 movie that weekend.
I could see it, though. I mean, this is... I don't know how they would have marketed this movie back in 95 when this came out. Yeah, I can't even narrow down the plot. If I try to describe the plot to somebody, you'll probably think it's crazy.
No, but it brings me to my next point. Is the way that they marketed it was Keanu Reeves...
the follow-up
to Speed. So, a lot of inconsistencies that you talk about the movie, is part of it is that Warner Brothers came in and said, hey, Speed was a major hit for Keanu. How could we speed this movie up and make it more action and make it more, make it faster and slicker for people? Which is totally wrong. There's a Japanese version of this that is 10 minutes longer, and you get 10 minutes more of a street preacher. He does a sermon, and you find out why he is the way that he is. There's the action is a little bit slower, so there's a different edit of this film that's out there.
Pacing to it,
a better pacing for it. So if they would have done that version of the movie, which I hope that someday I will be able to watch it. I'm sure I could find it online, but I just haven't.
Bootleg it. I'll endorse bootlegging for that purpose.
Probably, yes. But I would say that, that's the version that we should have seen, but the version that we got was because Keanu was so big in Speed, and this was his follow-up to Speed, so they needed
something that was fast-paced. They were probably wondering, like, oh, shit, like, we got Speed, and, like,
right.
What are we going to... This is his follow-up movie. We want to bank on it.
Yeah, I'm sure that they would have driven a bus through the entire movie if they could have.
They should have. With the dolphin. With the cyborg dolphin in the thing. We're going to get to the cyborg dolphin. Keanu has one of the most epic ranting meltdowns I've seen in a very long time. I can't do it justice. I'm not going to even try to do a Keanu voice. We're just going to play a clip for you guys because it's pretty insane.
Had it with you. I've had it with all this. I want room service.
The skinny ties were back in. I had a couple skinny ties.
You had a couple skinny ties?
I did.
Mexican beer. I want a $10,000 a night hooker.
What the fuck is that?
I want my shirts laundered. Like they do at the Imperial Hotel in Tokyo.
He's got like a whole Rodney Dangerfield thing. Like, I get no respect or something.
Yeah, I mean...
Wild
rant.
Wild rant. We don't know anything about this character besides that.
Right. Ahead of its time, too, because, Mexican beer now is huge.
Everybody loves Mexican beer. You go to a college party, you know what they're date raping women with? Mexican beer.
Yes.
But, it's funny, though. It's just they definitely use Keanu and his comedic chops, ironically, to its best level.
They do. It's like he did the perfect movie as far as you take Bill and Ted, and then you take the Speed one-liners that he did, and then like he meshed them up to make this movie.
Yeah.
And that's his delivery.
It's like somebody saw Blade Runner and said, you know what this is missing? Keanu Reeves and a cyborg dolphin. And
Yes.
Dolph Lundgren walking around quoting the Bible.
The Bible.
and
killing people.
In really
them.
gruesome ways.
Yes.
Dolph just shows up in this movie. No introduction. You see him from a distance. He's walking, but you don't know who the actor is. You just see somebody walking.
Right.
And then it just cuts to a scene of him torturing a guy.
It does. And then he tortures a guy, and then he just keeps on going on and torturing other people and keeps on killing. It's one of Dolph's, I feel like, a missed opportunity.
I do think it was a missed opportunity because I feel like he's great in the movie and he's definitely hamming it up the best he can.
He can.
But there's only so much he could do with his limited screen time.
Absolutely. I feel like they maybe cut him a lot. They cut him out too much, and you don't really get to feel like what he was up to. Like, why is he a street preacher? Why is he doing the things that he does?
And the concept itself is crazy. Like, Dolph Lundgren is this big muscle-bound dude walking around thinking he's like Jesus or Moses or something, quoting the Bible, talking about everybody's a sinner, this and that, much like a lot of people I know.
Yes.
I always get shamed for being a sinner, but I would not want to be shamed by Dolph Lundgren.
That show, The Sinner, that was about you?
It was 100% about me. Except I'm not like the cop in that show. I'm not into weird sexual stuff. I don't like getting my fingers stepped on. That is a weird detective. But no, I mean, it is a little bit of a missed opportunity because I feel like the moment he shows up, he's having a fun time, but then the movie itself forgets about him for a whole chunk of the running time. He's like, oh shit, yeah, Dolph Lundgren's in this movie. Let's go back and see what he's doing. And then we got Henry Rollins in this, playing a doctor named Spider, and everything he says is so passive-aggressive. He's always angry. So he's like, yeah, why do you have that data? Why do you have it in your head, huh? What's this? You think I got this lab, huh? Like everything's just huh? Like why is he so angry in this
Angry and sarcastic.
Angry and sarcastic.
What are you doing at my door?
He looks like a typical 90s cyberpunk hacker. But he's a doctor. He's got the big glasses and everything. Definitely stunt casting because of who he was.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we talked about it last week, with Busta Rhymes, and this movie had both hip-hop with Ice-T, and then you have rock with Henry Rollins. I mean...
I want to know when Ice-T looks back at his filmography, and he's, like, thinking about all his accomplishments. He's got Law & Order... He's got
Law and Order Chicago.
Law
and Order New York.
Law and Order SVU. He was in New Jack City, wasn't he?
I believe so.
He's got Leprechaun in the Hood, and he's probably thinking to himself, "My greatest accomplishment is Johnny Mnemonic."
I would say so. I would definitely think so.
I wouldn't argue with him. Like I definitely wouldn't argue with him. I want to know what drew him to his project because he plays
Money.
He plays a character. Yeah, definitely Money. He plays a character who runs this underground movement, and I think they're just called the Underground. Runs an underground movement. They're just called the Underground.
Yeah, they're just but they're up in the air.
They are up in the air, and he's like, and there's a moment I laughed because they make it seem like it's like this secret thing. When he meets Johnny for the first time, he's like, I'm from his hideout or whatever. He points to it, and it's just like you don't know what he's pointing to. Like It could be the building, it could be a lamppost. He's just pointing off screen, and it's definitely a stereotypical like underground resistance sort of character. Again, QAnon.
Yeah, absolutely. But it is, like I said, it is lots of fun. It is. You do have, you have these really weird characters all throughout, scattered within the film. I mean, you have two guys sitting in a car, like right after the scene that you just played. They're dropping cars on people and just bantering back and forth. You do have a lot of, weird Keanu Reeves acting.
There's a great sexual operatic scene in a sex club.
Yes.
I don't know. It's a sex club? No, literally, there's opera in this sex club. There's a giant... I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a giant blanket or sheet stretched out across this floor, and you just see a bunch of bodies moving under it. It looks like a snake. I want to know what was going on there. There's like dudes that look like Kinky Kelly and the Stud, just wrestling with each other. Just big buff bald dudes wrestling.
You've never been to an S&M club?
No.
Oh man, you're missing out.
I don't know. Like they're either wrestling, banging, or some form of both. And I think everybody was doing that in this club. Let's get to the dolphin scene because I feel like this is worth the price of admission because I don't know how to describe it. How would you describe the ending of this movie?
Weirder than the rest of the movie. I feel like it's building up to something, right? So you get the entire movie and it's building up to something. And if you haven't seen it, you're in for a treat. And spoilers, I would go stop this video and go watch the movie and then come back for this part. But here we go. So you're building up to something, and we have to go meet Jones. Keanu has to go meet Jones. Jones is gonna hack his brain to get the information out, and then we get to the center of the underground, where Jones is at, and there's a huge fish tank. And in that fish tank, there's a dolphin with like a helmet and little satellites and radars coming off of him. He has a fucking red eye. It looks like he's about to shoot lasers.
He does.
Like those sharks, in James Bond, And that's Jones. It's a freaking dolphin. A dolphin is the savior. He's going to go ahead and hack Johnny's brain. And I don't know who came up with let's have a dolphin.
Let's have a dolphin be the Maltese Falcon in this movie. The thing that's the special thing in this movie that they're hyping up is a cyborg dolphin.
Yes.
That is he is like controlling these people. They all like, oh, that's Jones. Like they're all like they're hyping him up like he's like on the streets. Like he's got good rep. It's a fucking dolphin.
It's a dolphin, and he has one of the best kills in the entire movie.
He does
when he kills the preacher.
He kills Dolph Lundgren. gets killed by a dolphin.
It's like he blows up. It was like poof.
And it's crazy. He like I don't know what he did. It was like a supersonic sort of thing that
like pulsating, like
pulsating. He's using his dolphin powers. This is all like I wish I was making this up, and it's so crazy because when you told me to watch this movie, it's like I'm expecting a generic sci-fi action movie.
Right.
What you get is like just insane ideas and insane things that are happening on screen, and you have Keanu just like overacting every single line. He doesn't know if he's supposed to be funny or sad or dramatic, so he throws everything into one sentence. He goes from happy to sad, like confused. He looks like he's got cerebral palsy at some points. But no, the dolphin scene is the price of admission. From the moment this movie starts, you think it's like, okay, so there's
dystopian world.
It's gritty, it's dark.
Right.
And then by the end of this journey, the whole movie has to do with a cyborg dolphin distributing a vaccine to save people from the black shakes.
Yeah.
I don't know who came up with this stuff. God bless you. You know, you're probably one of the greatest creative minds of our time.
Now, there is a couple of drawbacks, though. Is the director never directed a movie ever again.
Right.
And then Dolph Lundgren, this was the last movie that he released to theaters until The Expendables in 2010 or
2010, I think, yeah.
2009, whatever. So this movie did bad to those two people. Now Keanu, you know, we all know what happened to him.
We've thrown everything at Keanu in terms of his career, and he just doesn't faze him.
No.
You know, he's done, was that samurai movie he's done? He's done...
Ronin 47.
Ronin 47, yeah. Ronin 47. He's done a bunch of terrible movies. And for some reason, he's still kicking, he's still around, still doing his thing. This movie should have been the one that ruined his career. In fact, I'm pretty sure it ruined other careers.
Well, the director and
Case in
Dolph.
point, the director and Dolph. But it's crazy to me that like the studio. You think about movies now, you know, there's not much risk. Not everything, but a lot of the bigger movies are going streaming, like we're talking about, like HBO Max. There are reboots, remakes, sequels, and big adaptations of IPs. I love all those things. It's awesome to get those things. I love, you know, franchises. But it's crazy that at some point in time, a studio had said, let's make a movie about Keanu Reeves seeking the help of a cyborg dolphin with Dolph Lundgren showing up every once in a while talking about the Bible.
Right. Well, you mentioned you like, you know, IPs and all that stuff, right?
I do.
This movie is based on a book.
This is based on a book?
This is based on a book.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Now, I want to know, is it a good or faithful adaptation of the novel?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know how to read. I was, you know, Chicago public schools.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something to be, something I would want to look into is, like, how faithful is this to the book? And is the book as batshit
So, like I said
movie
earlier, it's not as faithful because Warner Brothers, like they always do,
chopped it up.
They chopped it up and wanted a faster pacing movie. But from what I've heard, is the Japan version, the ones that they got over there, is more truer to the book.
Okay.
So it's a crazy ass book, and I'm assuming because dolphins.
For all we know, this book might be like 1984 or something, like a really well regarded sci-fi novel, and it's like super dramatic. And the filmmakers just took it and just like, we're gonna put cyborg dolphin, Dolph Lundgren, let's put an iced tea, and totally just change it.
Yeah, but I mean, how many movies do you know that are, you know, cyberpunk?
Not many. This is one of the few I can think that it's a straight up cyberpunk movie. It really is.
It is. I mean, you had, you know, Blade Runner that was a little bit cyberpunk, and then you get this movie, and then which is perfect because then after this movie you could go play Cyberpunk 77.
Yeah, you could watch this, get all pumped up.
Which Keanu's in that, so it's like a continuation of his character.
This is what you do. You have a great overnight thing. You stay up till like 3, 4 in the morning. You start the night by drinking a bunch of Surge. You just buy a case of Surge. You drink a bunch of Surge, and then you pop on Johnny Mnemonic. You gasp at all the great moments. You laugh, have a good time. Think about how you're not as cool as Keanu Reeves, and even if you're the worst actor in the world, you're not as good as Keanu Reeves, and then you could go be sad about yourself and try to be better about yourself by playing the game Cyberpunk, which Keanu Reeves is also in to remind you that you're still a sad, sad piece of garbage.
Man.
And that's a great way to do a night, I would think.
I would say so. But maybe not Surge, maybe Jolt Cola.
Okay. I was thinking a Surge would be a good 90s thing. Like, you know, like it would be a good way to fit in. Like, I could see myself watching Johnny Mnemonic and drinking a Surge. If it was 1995, I guess. Or 96, watching it at home on VHS, wondering what the hell is this movie or something like that.
Yeah, the VHS, I was looking up the VHS copies, and they were like bright orange cassette tapes.
No, really?
Yes.
Like a Nickelodeon movie?
Like a Nickelodeon movie, like the Rugrats cassette tapes.
Mom, this isn't Rugrats. This is Johnny Mnemonic. We got Rugrats at home.
Why are they singing opera at an S&M club?
Is there anything else you want to cover on this?
Yeah, I think, with this movie, it's, like we said, it's definitely worth a revisit, especially, I think it's always fun, and a movie would always get me, is when it's set in the future. I always think it's fun when they try to predict what may happen in the future, right? So, you have Back to the Future, you have the one with... he's an astronaut, Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, Interstellar.
And, so it's always fun to see what we think of how the future is going to look. So this movie is a lot of fun when they, in 95, they're looking into 2021, which is what we're living now.
Right.
And they're looking into our world, basically. Some of it's hit or miss. We got a pandemic. Unfortunately, there's no street preachers out right now.
No black shakes.
No black shakes.
We do have an underground, kind of, like I said, QNN. Definitely not heroes or anything, but probably very similar to Ice-T in the movie.
Right.
Down to the anarchy symbols.
Yeah, Anonymous.
Anonymous would be a good example. They definitely hit the nail on the head with that one. Unfortunately, no cyborg dolphins.
No cyborg dolphins that we know of. We don't know what the government's doing.
What I love about 90s movies where they try to predict technology, they always go overboard. Like when you look at movies like Demolition Man or even this, it's like when Keanu's like, I'm searching the web, and he's doing a bunch of things. He's got gloves on, he's swiping things over and stuff. I'm making a phone call to Japan, and he's swiping stuff, and it's just whoa, this guy's doing so many things just to call Japan.
Yes.
And just in 90s sci-fi thrillers, they always they think technology is just multiple steps of something. I just hit a bunch of keys on a keyboard or something. It's oh, technology. That's what this movie does.
Which, you know what? You reminded me of something that I looking into a little bit of research for this movie. This is the first movie that was basically all internet based. I mean, 95. There was a small piece of there was a small group of people that had the internet.
Right.
This is the first movie that was truly marketed on the internet in 95. They had internet promotions where people could get, go into a website, Johnny Mnemonic website, and get t-shirts and hats and mugs. This movie was the first one to do that. So it paved the way for later on all this, movie marketing. I mean, it's a pioneer of its time. I mean, I feel like the internet wasn't so new at that point. Nobody knew. And then here comes a movie, like you said, oh, the internet, I'm going to hack into this. And you see Keanu's claws going up on somebody. And,
those Freddy Krueger claws.
The Freddy Krueger claws. I'm going to give you a virus. I'm going to shut you down.
Virus. And the guy's no, don't hack me.
Right. I mean, but it is cool, like you said, to see all this internet stuff before the internet really took off.
Before the internet really took off. I think that's the biggest takeaway from this review is that this movie is a pioneer of its time. So
yes.
I think we did successfully redeem Johnny Mnemonic.
The pioneer of its time. It's like Davy Crockett.
Yeah. Keanu Reeves, I mean, if anything, he's a messiah of his time.
I would say so.
I think that's going to do it for this one. Unless there's anything else that you think you could add for Johnny Mnemonic.
No.
To sell it.
No, the only thing I could do that if we haven't sold you on Johnny Mnemonic by now, then we're not going to be able to sell you on anything.
roaming the streets, praising things like he's out of the Bible.
In a tunic.
In a tunic with long hair and a beard, and he's got a big like a Cain and Abel sort of cane thing he walks around with.
Yes, a shepherd's staff.
A shepherd's staff, and you have Keanu Reeves bickering with a dolphin. I don't know how else you would be able to sell this movie.
No, that's all you need to know. You go watch it right now. You can find it on Hulu. You could find it on Amazon Prime. It's all free. Go watch it right now. Leave us your comments about what you thought about this movie. If you didn't like it, tell us why you didn't like it. If you loved it, tell me why you loved it. And then give us some ideas what you want to see us review. What other bad movies you want us to see.
Totally. No, I agree. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. If you like this video, let us know. As Gabe said, we're having a lot of fun doing this, and we're going to bring more content to you soon, especially with our other series, Employee Picks, to coincide FLOPBUSTER.
Yes.
So I think that'll do it for this episode.
I think so too. So thank you so much for stopping by FLOPBUSTER. Have a great day.